So love the one you're with. Anybody remember that song? Yes. How many of you think that's the one you're next to? No. You're the one you're with. You're the one you're with all the time, every day. No matter how hard we try to run away from ourselves, there we are. Why would it be important for us to love ourselves? All those reasons. But let's see. Doubt, worry, comparison to others, too fat, too skinny, not pretty or handsome enough, not as successful as my siblings or my friends, not good enough for that promotion. Heck, I might not even be good enough to keep the job. Do these people really like me, or are they just pretending? Broke all the time, no major accomplishments, definitely not as smart as other people, not lovable, not worthy, scared, angry, scared, scared. I know none of you can relate to any of this. But loving yourself washes away the ideas and beliefs that you aren't good enough. Loving yourself helps build a confidence in you that you don't build any other way. You know, the confidence that you get by being praised by somebody and loved by somebody outside is wonderful. But it can go away. The love you have for yourself can stay with you. You can have it at all times. It's a confidence builder that exceeds all others. Of course, the first step to loving yourself is to stop doing those things that make you feel bad about yourself. I see Susie in the back there. I think of her every time I say that, because I believe she was the first one I ever said that to, and that was probably 25 years ago. Stop doing the things that make you feel bad about yourself. And you know what they are. Even if you think that you don't, you really do know what they are. When you leave, you're replaying a conversation over and over again, and your stomach's turning. At nighttime, you can't go to sleep because you're still having the argument. Or you're telling your friend how you behaved and rationalizing it to your friend, trying to make sure that everybody agrees that your bad behavior was okay. All those things make you feel bad about yourself. So loving yourself involves not doing that anymore. The thing about that, though, is that we really can't know what we don't know. We may be at a point in our development, spiritually, emotionally, that we're not able to let go of that right now. Sometimes the best that we have is to know that it's something we would like to change. To believe that letting go of that would help us love ourselves. We can only develop as fast as we can develop. You can't know what you don't know. Did you know that most children don't develop the skill set to learn to write their alphabet until they are 5 years old? It's true. I know some of the teachers out there going, That's right. You know, when a child is 2 years old, they won't cross their midline. So the only line they'll draw is up and down. When they become 2, they'll cross the midline. So they'll start doing their horizontal lines. When they're 3, they'll be circling, a complete circle. You know, prior to that, in scribbling, they can do a circle. But a conscious circle without a model doesn't come until they're 3. When they're 3.5, they learn how to put both the horizontal and the vertical lines together to make a cross. When they're 4, they can make their diagonals, which gives them the X. And when they're 5, they pull it all together to make a triangle. Voila! They now have every skill set they need to learn to write their alphabet. But you can't expect them to know how to do a triangle when they're 3. You know, of course, my gifted child. I have no idea when she could draw a triangle. I'm sure it was 5. No, we don't look at children at 2 years old and because they can't do a circle, give them a hard time. You know, when you learn to do a circle, I'll love you. No. That's not how it goes. We know that at 2, when they're doing their little up and down line, that they are absolutely perfect, exactly the way that they are. They are exactly where they're supposed to be in their development. It doesn't mean that they're finished, and it doesn't mean that they're not going to continue going forward. But they're exactly where they're supposed to be right here, right now, at this moment. And that's how we need to treat ourselves and those around us. We have to remember that we're all in different phases of our development. And even though I go home at night and feel about a behavior that I did, if I'm in that phase of my development where I don't know yet, I haven't really attached to the idea that it's my behavior that's making me upset, then I'm not in a place yet where I can make that change. But we still need to love ourselves exactly where we are. Warts and all. We need to understand that we are perfect in this moment. No matter what. Ecclesiastes says, there's a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. I remember some 30 years ago, I was working desperately on getting rid of impatience. I wanted to be patient. And impatience was a really high-level character defect at the time. No comments from the adult. It was a really high-level character defect at the time, impatience. And I figured if I worked on it with all the energy I had, I could beat it into submission. Yeah. And through an interesting turn of events, I ended up snowed in with a friend and 2 other women in a cabin in the outskirts of Bangor, Maine in January for 3 days. I only ended up there because I went there to see Stephen King's house. That'll do it. And 3 days I'm in this cabin with these 2 younger women. And one of these women was actually a younger version of myself. Yes. And so for 3 whole days, I got to experience my younger self and all her glory. Yeah. And I realized at that time that while I was staying busy trying to get rid of impatience in my life, my soul, the God in me, had been busy working, getting rid of the things that were actually in my way. And so in hindsight, I was able to watch that younger version of myself and say, wow, I don't do that anymore. Wow, I don't do that anymore. Wow, I've actually come a long way in a few short years. It also gave me a lot of patience for her. And it also gave me an appreciation for the people who loved me while I was in that state. I remember one time, around that very same time, someone told my best friend, Roxanne takes up all the oxygen in the room. I had no idea that that was not a compliment. Yeah. So I had a great deal of appreciation for the people who loved me every stage of my life. And that's what we need to do for ourselves, is to love ourselves no matter where we're at. So I have a few things that I say will help us. Is that whole on switch? And we change the battery. So it's just one slide. If you could hit it for me. Anyway, the first one. There we go. Yay! 10 ways to help you love yourself. And the first one being, stop doing things that make you feel bad about yourself, which we already went over. But when you do, forgive yourself for your mistakes. Give yourself a break. Understand that each time you fall short, you get a little closer to the perfection of that skill set. That each time you fall short, you realize that a little sooner, you stay angry a little less longer. You understood what I meant? You learn more about you and that skill set every time you fall short, so give yourself a break. Recognize the benefit of the fact that you see it at all. Allow yourself that time to develop the different lines it's going to take for you to be able to write the whole alphabet of your life. Next, write out a list of your accomplishments and celebrate all of your achievements. It'll feel like a huge weight's been lifted if you focus on being grateful for who you are rather than regret who you aren't. I had recently a 25-year-old tell me, I've accomplished nothing. I was like, oh, honey, you turned 25. It's a huge accomplishment to turn 25. Don't regret who you aren't. Look at who you are and celebrate all of those achievements. You know, she says, as my daughter was growing up, she was real little, everything that she would do, like if she had drawn a straight up and down line, I'd have gone, yay for the baby! I celebrated every move that child made, no matter what. And we should do that for ourselves. I actually said that so many times, yay for the baby! So many times that by the time she could actually talk, she was calling herself the baby. She thought the baby was her name, so I had to slow it down a little bit. 4, 5, and 6 all work together really nicely. Surprise yourself by saying yes to something you'd normally say no to. Yes. Pursue new interests, like take a class that you normally wouldn't sign up for. Challenge yourself in ways that scare you just a little itty bitty bit. I know I went over these during our prosperity series, but I think they're really, really important to keep our brain exercising, to allow ourselves to experience new experiences, to see if we even like them. We don't even know what we like until we've experienced everything, right? Do something that surprises you. Challenge yourself. And do something that's a little bit scary. Coming here was a surprise, a challenge, and really, really scary. I can tell you that. It was a surprise because I never intended to be a Sunday speaking minister. Never my intention. I had the job I wanted. I was the education minister. I spoke occasionally, and that was plenty for me. No intention of ever being a Sunday minister. Surprise! And I also didn't think that I would be okay leaving my church of 24 years. I really didn't know how that would work for me. But I came here and then I fell in love all over again. And lastly, thanks to Eric and Barb, I have unearthed that deep desire to sing at the top of my voice. And I sing loud and proud every Sunday, no matter what noise comes out. Surprise yourself, do something different. Scare yourself just a little bit. Trust yourself, your instincts and your intuition. You already have the answer. Until you can really recognize that, though, be sure and run those answers by somebody who you trust. A sponsor, your minister, a friend. But people come to me all the time with this. Should I do that? And I just love them as I say, you tell me, because you already have the answer. Dream big. Yoo-hoo! If you can see it, it can be. If you can see it and you feel it with enthusiasm and intensity, you can manifest it in your life. There is nothing that is impossible in this universe. Nothing. So dream big. Don't be afraid that you're asking for too much. Don't think that you don't deserve what you desire, because you do. And knowing that is part of loving yourself. So go for it. Dream as big as you want to dream. Have fun all by yourself. Go to a movie by yourself. Go have a really nice dinner. Maybe explore the neighborhood if you haven't explored it yet, or a new part of town. Go to the farmer's market on a Saturday morning. Go to the beach to see the sunrise. Learn to enjoy your own company. Actually, it's really wonderful when you reach the point where you're your favorite company. That's truly the place to be. Travel as often as you can. I'm a big traveler. I used to say all the time, have toothbrush will travel. But anymore, I don't even have to have a toothbrush because there's a store anywhere you go. And if there isn't one where we're going to land, I bet you the airplane has a toothbrush I could get. I can get a toothbrush. I'm ready to go anywhere at any time. It's actually kind of a little crazy. But traveling does wonderful things for you. It gives you an education about how other people live and where other things are. It gives you a perspective of your life and how it relates to a world that's much bigger than the world that you live in. Travel as often as you can. And then self-care. Self-care, self-care. This is where I have my biggest growing edge, is in self-care. I get really excited about doing and I forget about being. I forget about just giving myself the opportunity to God charge. But I'm blessed with people in my life and circumstances that allow me or afford me the opportunity to get recharged. Take that time to do self-care. They'll remind me, it's time. Here, go do this. See that over there? That big rock, go sit there. You need a massage? Let's go over here. I'm very, very blessed with those kind of people around me in my life. Self-care. Lastly, be kind to yourself and to others. In his book, The 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 93, Bill Wilson wrote, "We can stop trying to make unreasonable demands upon those we love. We can show kindness where we have shown none. With those we dislike, we can begin to practice justice and courtesy. Perhaps going out of our way to understand and to help them. Courtesy, kindness, justice, and love are the keynotes by which we may come into harmony with practically anybody." Get to know yourself. Learn to love yourself. No matter where you are in this moment, know that you are in the right and perfect place. But understand that you'll not remain where you are. Your soul is constantly calling you forward. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, sometimes with ease, and sometimes with struggle. You'll move forward. And that bit of discomfort you feel is your soul telling you it's time to move. I bless you on your journey, and I am honored to walk that path with you. Bless you.